Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. So, the Odoo experience is not only a moment to showcase the new features, but also a good moment to remember things that we did greatly, to share success stories, and this is why we are here today. Uh, in today's presentation, we are gonna show our project that Odoo was really powerful to help companies such as Nuventura that are in the energy sector, and also especially when it comes to engineering to order. My name is Lucas. I am a manufacturing expert here at Odoo, and today I have the pleasure to share the stage with Tanya. She's the Chief Officer Business Operation of Nuventura. And before we start, there is a QR code over here, so if you have questions, don't hesitate. You can scan this QR code. This will take you to a pad, and then write down your questions over there, and we finish after the presentation. Just to give you an overview of our talk, Tanya will introduce Nuventura and explain what were the previous challenges that led them to decide to implement an ERP, in this case, why they chose Odoo. And then I will explain a bit how was the implementation project, and she closes with the impacts on the business. So, Tanya, please.
Yeah, thank you, Lucas, for having me today. It's my pleasure. I'm now telling you some words about Nuventura and what we are doing. So, Nuventura is a green deep tech R&D company, and we are developing, manufacturing, and selling environmentally friendly switchgears. A switchgear, you might not know what it is. A switchgear is a part, or let's say, important component of any electricity grid. So yes, a switchgear is not a new project itself, but what we did is that we improved the current generation of switchgears substantially. Why did we do that? Because the current generation of switchgears is using a very, very dangerous greenhouse gas, which is called SF6. It's sulfur hexafluoride. And SF6 has a huge global warming potential, which is way higher than CO2. To give you something that is easily to digest in this regard, is the annual SF6 emissions correspond to over 100 million cars on the road, which is insanely huge. And this is why we developed a switchgear that is substituting SF6 fully, 100%, by dry air, and which makes it environmentally friendly. We are doing this since 2017. Those days we started to develop our first product variant, which was type tested end of 2020. A type test is like a crash test for a car. And then we rolled it out, we sold it into first pilot projects, and over the years we developed. And meanwhile, we even have full installations with this first product variant. And when I say first product variant, yes, we also have a second product variant and a third product variant. And as I thought you might not know what a switchgear is, I show you now a picture. That is a switchgear. It is a huge machine, over 2 meters high, weighs over a ton. And this picture is showing the second product variant, which is at the moment in type testing phase. The third product variant is under development still, and will go into type test phase next year. So this is what we are doing. And as any growing company, we faced a lot of challenges during growth, hiring people, extending R&D activities, and at the very beginning, of course, we only focused on developing the product. Yeah, no one really took care about documenting data, where data are stored and stuff. And in the end, we had a situation where we had a quite fragmented data and information system landscape, so to say, which made it highly inefficient to control and, to be honest, even impossible. I can give you one example. For the year-end closing, I asked the BOM of one of our prototypes from the respective team, and I received 4 different BOMs for only one product. Yeah, so obviously no one really knew which part was assembled in that prototype, but we were actually supposed to report on that. We solved all that. It was time consuming, and I said, look guys, we need to implement an ERP system no matter what. We want to manufacture in the future, we want to internationalize, we want to build other entities in other countries, we want to sell the product, so we need to implement an ERP system. And then I started a highly competitive screening process of ERP tools. I came up with a short list of 4 tools, whereas one of the tools fall out relatively soon, so I was left with the remaining 3 ERP system. And I asked the whole team, those days we weren't so many people, hey, what would you expect from an ERP system? What challenges do you face at the moment? And the outcome was a vendor checklist, I called it. You see screenshots here of that vendor checklist. You can also call it feature list or feature wish list. I categorized a must-have, a nice-to-have for different apps, finance, procurement, warehouse, manufacturing, etc. And that feature wish list was way over 100 line items long, and then I started to deep dive for the tools that was on my short list. And with Nuventura, I must say I've had a really super good salesperson. The sales experience was super great, far above expectation. And I'm a quite challenging person. I wanted to understand everything because the decision is really huge, impacting a lot what the company will be able to do in the future, right? I got answers to everything. Did any answer solve the question or the topic that I was trying to tackle 100%? No, but at least I got an impression of what is possible with Odoo. And to give you one example, we have a design team, right? Because we are doing R&D. So the design team is using Vault and Inventor. And of course, I wanted to know what is possible in regards to connecting Vault and Inventor to Odoo, because Odoo is not offering it in standard. So I got help in identifying third-party providers. I had calls with one of my design colleagues to understand what is possible, and that gave me a really good feeling to be able to grow with Odoo. The outcome of that process was that my sales contact and me, we prepared a team presentation because I defined a group of people within Nuventura, and I called them the decision makers, so to say. It was from procurement, from finance, from R&D, assembly, etc. And then we have had a presentation with 2 tools, one of them Nuventura, and another tool. And then by the end of the day, we made a team decision to go with Odoo. And then, luckily, I was matched to Lucas, and then we started the implementation process. And it turned out, and I'm really super happy that Lucas and me, we have a very similar approach on how to run an implementation. And of course, we didn't do it just the 2 of us. For any app, I got a team colleague in, and we were doing it at least 3 people. Yeah.
That's right, exactly, Tanya. Thanks for the great introduction. And here, just to maybe deep dive about the project itself, we divided in 3 phases because, as you might know, what we try to do in the quick start methodology is to implement the phase 1 using the apps that will add more value to the client to cover the core business. And in this way, they take advantage of the subscription as soon as possible. So this is why the phase 1 was pretty much purchases, inventory manufacturing, and subcontracting. And all of this was completely standard. We only had a couple of little developments in phase 2 because we implemented finance, documents, and analytic accounting with projects. As we are talking here about engineering to order, it's very important for them to manage everything in a project base. And this is why the analytic account helped to centralize the costs from different sources and see per project whether they are profitable or not. And some developments that we did were more to fine-tune user access rights, this kind of thing. But in general, everything was quite okay. And then we closed the project implementing phase 3 with accounting, human resources, attendance, and recruitment. But what is more important here that this I would like to highlight is the way we manage the project, because Nuventura is in Berlin and we are here in Belgium, and the project was done totally online. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we started during the pandemic, so of course would
Yep.
be a bit harder anyway to meet face to face. But we had to find a way to collaborate very efficiently, and the way we collaborated was using, guess what, the project app. And I added information. For example, after we agreed on the phases and the way we would manage the deadlines and so on, I was adding information in the tasks, such as, well, I will show you in a minute. But then everything that I was adding was also accessible for Tanya, because she has access to the customer portal. And this is something that I really would like to invite you to do in case you are partners, to do with your clients, or if you are clients, don't hesitate to ask the consultant to do the same, because this is a very powerful tool and helped a lot to have a very efficient collaboration, even though this is the first time we are meeting face to face. So, and this is what I was saying. All the information, all the documentation was available in the task. So we recorded some meetings where we were discussing the functional process. And then if Tanya had to rewatch something to recap a decision or an explanation of how to do something, she could easily find the information. We also added the deadlines, the deliverables, the to-dos, so everything, sometimes even a tutorial that we recorded specifically to explain a process, was everything available on the project. And the success factors of this project, in my opinion, maybe Tanya, you might have something also to add. First was the very beginning, because if the project starts right, there is a big probability that will go well until the end. And once we had this first approach, we were almost starting in version 14, and we decided, I had a very good collaboration with the account manager at that time, we decided to postpone a bit the creation of the database, because we were almost launching the version 15. And why? Because the analytic accounting in manufacturing was introduced in version 15. So it was very important to have this collaboration since the beginning, because if we started the project in version 14, then we would have an upgrade or something to be done. Second thing was the SPOC. SPOC means the single point of contact, which in this case is Tanya on the Nuventura side. And I'm saying this not because she's here, but indeed the role was really taken by her in the right way. She had enough availability to dedicate to the project. She had enough power, or maybe potential to allocate resources to the project. So it's very important. You might know, you as consultants, that sometimes you need to have someone available to test something or to do something or to have a meeting, and the person is of course busy with the operation. But Tanya was really great in this sense, because everything that I needed on my side and I was asking her, it was always working fine, because she had all this role super clear. Another point that is very important was that pretty much everything was standard. So this saved a lot of time, not only about discussing things, but in terms of developing. And also, as we started in version 15, the upgrade to the version 16 was super smooth, thanks to the standard database that we had. Of course, we did some customizations using Studio, but this is something covered by the upgrade process. And again, we managed to follow the methodology. Odoo's methodology is quite simple, quite straightforward. It's not a rocket science, but sometimes people tend to deviate from this. And as we really followed the methodology, it was super easy to collaborate. And the project management tool that I just showed was also super important in order to achieve a success result. But I don't know if you have something else to add, Tanya, or you agree?
No, it's very true. I mean, my approach is, look, first use the standard, because when you cover, maybe it's even only 60%, or you cover 80%, 80 is more than 0, or 80 is more than 10, yeah, you will improve, and then take that step and then improve step by step, iteratively, instead of trying to achieve the 100% or maybe 99, 98% version, which you will anyhow most probably not achieve. Yeah, so this is what I meant with we have a very similar approach on how to do it. And then, yeah, sometimes developments are needed, but it's like really really well evaluated to what extent. The less, the better. Yeah, impacts on the business after the implementation of Odoo. Yeah, I thought about that, and then I thought, well, in order to give you a comprehensive and honest view on that, I asked my colleagues. And this is here, I did copy and paste from what they wrote me, yeah, I didn't change anything. And this is what they are saying. In summary, it is an improved traceability, it is improved transparency because apps are seamlessly integrated and workflows are connected. People can see at what stage the other person is at the moment within a certain workflow. And other things that turned out only now is we are in big tenders at the moment, and there are customers simply obliging us to use a certain system with a certain stage of maturity in the implementation. So some projects we wouldn't win without the ERP system. Then here again, other words from my colleagues. I want to highlight the last 2 points. We are working with Odoo SH, so I have access to the API, which is super because we are calling data quite a lot meanwhile, and we are able to manipulate reports, and it is really a well-working API. It's super good. And another thing that wouldn't have been possible without Odoo is we are since this year ISO 9001 certified. Clearly not possible without Odoo. Next year we are going for ISO 14001 and ISO 45001, also not possible without Odoo.
That's great.
Yeah, you didn't know, right? Yeah. Yeah.
All right, then this was our success story. It's a project that I had the pleasure to implement with Tanya. And this leads to the end of the presentation. So if you have questions, please feel free to scan the QR code, and we are here gladly to answer all of them. Thank you so much.
Hi, thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
So thanks for the good presentation and sharing with us. So let's see any questions from the audience. So if you haven't scanned the QR code, yeah, it's the time to do so. Okay. So the first question, can you describe the workflow when you share the editable project with the client? We share the editable project, but I believe the client cannot edit task descriptions. So it's about the portal, customer portal, and how do you work on the workflow when you're working with the client? Yeah.
Do you want to describe, Tanya?
Yeah, I mean, it is as Lucas showed this one slide, we have had access to all the things that we discussed, all the records that we took from the meetings that we had, and everything was always accessible. I believe the question was if I was able to edit it. I was not. Which, to be honest, didn't bother me, because when I saw something is missing, which was actually, to be honest, rarely the case, because Lucas is such a structured and comprehensive consultant, then he edited it. So for me, no problem. But I was not able to edit it myself.
Yeah. To my knowledge as well, this is not editable, but for now, it is enough, but maybe in the future, look forward to our roadmap of developments. Okay, so there's a question. What were the main pain points that occurred during implementation, and how were they solved in the implementation? The major pain points.
Uh,
For me, the major pain point was internal availability of people. It's good that Lucas is saying that I took care and people were available and we were doing the testing and giving input and stuff. But to be honest, for me it was sometimes quite a struggle to get everyone in place and in range and doing the stuff and also documenting, yeah, you know, because when someone is testing and then saying it is not working, yeah, okay, well, but what is not working? Tell me, give me screenshots so that we can talk about it and understand it. Or maybe you joined the session, right? Because simply saying something doesn't work is not helpful. So for me, the primary pain point was an internal one, keeping the people in range. I don't know if that was the intention of the question here.
but yeah, and just to mention something that I forgot, as Tanya had a big picture view of the company, the project, and everything, was easier to have always the collaboration with her, because sometimes the end user, they have a different point of view, or they want something that is very specific only for his work, but it will not help the company in general. So this was good because every time we had a situation where a user was asking for something, sometimes they had a reason about what they were asking, but Tanya was always trying to redirect the point, and we always were thinking or considering the big picture of everything.
Okay, great, thank you. So here's one related to manufacturing and engineering industry. I'm not sure it is completely relevant, but let me try. So here they mention there's a large bills of material of many sublevels, and it's necessary to start by launching material orders for the final assembles. So which can be at any depth of the bill of material and usually at the lowest levels. So can this scenario be managed in Odoo? And if all manufacturing orders need to be validated so that Odoo knows the current purchasing needs, for example, and then how continuous bill of materials changes be managed in this industry?
I will try to answer because I think there are some questions only in one. About multi-level BOM, if I got it right, if you need to see the demand or to concretely have the demand of a component that is in the third or fourth level, let's say, then yes, you need first to have the manufacturing order confirmed, right? So there is another way to forecast demand of components that are in a bottom level if you have multiple levels in a bill of materials, such as the master production schedule. There is also the possibility to foresee a demand of a component if you work with days to prepare manufacturing order, but maybe if I'm getting it right, if the person is asking if they can only using make to order see the demand of a component that belongs to the third or fourth level, yeah, you are obliged to confirm the manufacturing order at least to recognize this demand.
Yeah, okay. Or you can go to our manufacturing booth to understand more in terms of this topic. So we have limited time now, but like maybe one last question. So for this project, Nuventura specifically, is Odoo implementation methodology applies from the start? Is it accepted from the start?
Yeah.
Yes. By the way, the Odoo implementation methodology, which is like being agile, being quick start, not having too much burden on developments. Yeah, it is starting from the beginning, right?
Exactly, yeah. Since the beginning, we agreed on the methodology and we followed it until the end. And as I said, it was a key point for the success of this project.
Yeah. So which means even for the energy industry, Odoo implementation methodology can apply, which is a very good. Yeah. So if there are no more questions, maybe we finish this session here. Thanks very much for everybody coming to the and thanks again for giving us a speech. Thanks.
Thank
Have
you,
a nice
Frank.
day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.